Americans by the hundreds of thousands join the unemployment lines. A controversial new law to keep sex offenders off the street. And homecoming day for American soldiers. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. Post-war euphoria ran up against the latest dose of economic reality today. The nation's unemployment rate has surged to a four-year high, 6.5%. That means almost 500,000 more Americans out of work, and it spells recession. The Federal Reserve today cut a key lending rate to try to stoke up the economy. But the growing numbers of unemployed are finding that they not only have to wait for work, they have to wait longer for benefits. Business correspondent Ray Brady has a report.
In bitter Midwest cold, they line up at 7 a.m. outside the unemployment office in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Often it's the start of a long 4-hour wait to file a claim or ask the question, where's my unemployment check?
I've had one check in 7 weeks since I've been unemployed.
Across the country, unemployment offices are on overload. Long lines and late checks are standard fare. Federal cutbacks left offices understaffed, unprepared to handle the recession's swelling flood of laid-off workers.
Right now, I'm sitting in limbo. I don't know what's going on.
It's a very serious problem, and I think if steps are not taken by the federal government and by state governments to shore up the system, it could very well turn into a crisis.
For many, it's already a crisis. In the 1975 recession, 3/4 of the nation's jobless got benefits. Now it's around 30%, less than half the earlier level. Both the federal and state governments cut back on funds in the booming 1980s when social programs were slashed. Today's unemployed are feeling the change. In the past, as a recession continued, states would lengthen the amount of time the unemployed drew checks. But in most states today, unemployment benefits last for just 26 weeks, the shortest period in 20 years, and hardly enough time to find work in a recession. Just ask Leonard Siskowski. He lost jobs in 2 plant closings, Chrysler in Wisconsin and at this aluminum mill. His benefits ran out 6 months ago. He's still desperately looking for work.
Wonder if you're doing any hiring?
None. They're laying off.
You taking applications though at all?
A shake of the head. Nothing here. Candy Siskowski's 2 part-time jobs barely put enough food on the table for a family of 6.
We're barely making the house payments, barely making the car payments. We don't know if we're going to be able to keep the cars. You need some kind of supplement to help you, to be able to make it, to get that paying job.
And getting a decent pay for it. I mean, nobody wants a handout, I don't think.
So even if he can't find work, Leonard Siskowski won't take the next step.
I would never take welfare. I've worked too hard all my life to go on welfare. I'd live in the street before I'd go on welfare with my family.
So he keeps looking. If history is a guide, there will be thousands more long-term unemployed before this recession is over. And thousands more who may end up like Leonard Siskowski, living without unemployment insurance. Ray Brady, CBS News, Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Secretary of State Baker began his Middle East peace mission today, meeting with King Fahd in Saudi Arabia. Baker will visit all the major Arab states in the coalition that won the Gulf War, trying to lay the groundwork for talks between Arabs and the Israelis. Tomorrow, the Secretary goes to Kuwait City, and later he will make his first ever visit to Israel. General Norman Schwarzkopf says his immediate goal now is to get American forces out of the Gulf region as fast as possible. The Desert Storm commander bid farewell today to 1,700 soldiers from the U.S. Army 7th Corps.
It's a great day to be a soldier. You were part of a great coalition. Despite the fact that you were vastly outnumbered, you were determined to show a petty dictator that they just can't get away with bullying their neighbors and taking what they want because they think they're so tough. We all paid a price, but we all share in that victory. It's hard for me to put in words how proud I am of you, how proud I have been to be the commander of this force. I'm proud of you. Your country's proud of you. The world's proud of you. God bless you, and Godspeed on your trip home. And God bless America.
General Norman Schwarzkopf. The first big wave of returning troops arrived in America today to the kind of hero's welcome that hasn't been seen since the end of World War II. Aaron Hayes reports.
We're home! Come here, boy. God, you got big. How you doing, Bubba?
It has been 7 months, almost to the day, since these troops have seen home.
Ladies and gentlemen, 82nd Airborne.
Today, across the country, planeloads of them arrived to heroes' welcomes.
To you, magnificent soldiers standing before me, welcome home.
Can't wait to take you home.
No more airplanes for a while, son.
You could see it everywhere, relief. They had all been so worried for these soldiers.
Thank you, Jesus. We're here.
We're just sorry for the people that didn't come back.
I know.
We're just glad ours did.
The homecomings started just after midnight.
She'll be fine. Mark Pickett!
Freezing March winds were no deterrent to those hoping theirs were among the first home.
I love you!
Some who watched and cheered learned they won't see theirs home for weeks, maybe months.
Now I just wait, I guess. I'm pretty used to that, so I'll just wait a little bit longer.
Ladies and gentlemen, America's first combat pilots.
That's Daddy's airplane, honey.
What is he going to come out?
He's going to come out of it.
For many, coming home, while a relief, may take some getting used to. Kids, anxious about their parents in combat, may have a hard time letting go for a while. There have been hundreds of babies born, too, while dads have been away. There have been changes in 7 months.
There he is! Right here! Right here!
For most, though, the important things haven't changed. For others, it may take time.
You know who I am? Remember me?
Time is what they have now. The war for these families is finally over. Aaron Hayes, CBS News, Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
And still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, a somber homecoming for thousands of Kuwaitis, and later, chasing another spring in the autumn of a career.
Dodge Caravan Plymouth Voyager. The first minivans are still first.
Accidents? I don't even think about them anymore.
Introducing new improved Attens undergarments. Now the best protection you can get, even when you move. That's because unlike others, new Attens has a snug, secure shape and fits high at the waist, not low. What's more, it also has a special absorbent pad built right in, with 50% more super absorbent material, so it absorbs more than ever before to help protect you better against leaks. All in all, it's the best protection you can get.
Life doesn't stand still, and now I don't either. I've switched to Attends.
New improved Attends. Now the best protection is Attends protection. For a free sample, call 1-800-4-ATTENDS.
Today, it's hard to spot some denture wearers because they don't look or feel like denture wearers, thanks to Extra Hold Fast Teeth. It has a more powerful seal, so it's stronger than any other powder. Extra Hold Fast Teeth. Nothing's closer to real.
Against a backdrop of spreading crackdown and chaos, Iraq today released 40 foreign journalists. They included about a dozen Americans. The government said they had been arrested during an illegal visit to the city of Basra, where Saddam Hussein's best troops and his Ba'ath Party have been attacking anti-Saddam protesters. The journalists were turned over to the Red Cross in Baghdad, along with two men the Iraqis described officially as American prisoners of war. Hundreds of Kuwaitis returned home today with horror stories of having been abducted by the Iraqis in the final days of the war. Martha Teichner has our report on that.
The first release came without warning in the middle of the night. Hustled into trucks and buses, the hostages had no idea whether they were being taken into or out of the fighting going on around them, which even they knew was tearing Iraq apart.
We're getting everybody home.
But home was still hours away as they huddled in the cold waiting to be processed. This, the last chapter in their horror story of mistreatment, even torture.
He says that they broke his back in his hands. You're in Kuwait, you're okay. You're in Kuwait, you're safe. In Kuwait, okay? You're all right.
We lived in a room that's about 38 meters by 5 meters, and there was 300 persons in it.
Brimming with anger, the Kuwaitis told about having only dirty rainwater to drink, hard bread to eat.
It's not a bread, it's a stone.
Finally, at dawn, they headed home, past the wreckage left in the final days of the war when the Iraqis took them hostage to cover their retreat. But going home like this was not good enough for some. More misery was not what they expected. They protested by setting off on foot.
Well, I'm mad about the whole situation. Alhamdulillah.
Word of the release spread so fast that families of the missing were already waiting at a hospital outside Kuwait City when the freed hostages arrived. Nearby streets were blocked with cars. The grounds were jammed with people frantically searching, hoping the morning would end with a reunion instead of the confusion they found. At the end of a narrow, dark corridor, hospital officials shouted out the names of the 1,200 men who had been released. But almost no one could hear. Finally, the names were repeated outside. After the chaos, the expectation, for many there is disappointment. A relative's name not called, and the prospect of still more waiting. For many families, the wait is accompanied by the fear that a loved one might never come home. Martha Teichner, CBS News, Kuwait City.
The president of Iran today openly backed Muslim fundamentalist rebels in Iraq who are trying to overthrow Saddam Hussein. Hashemi Rafsanjani said Iran will cooperate with Iraq only if Saddam yields to, quote, the will of the people. Iran is closely linked with two groups fighting to overthrow Saddam, Shiite Muslims in southern Iraq and Kurdish rebels in the north. From Jordan, Doug Tennell reports.
In the remote mountains of northern Iraq, a new battle has been joined. Kurdish guerrillas, some of Saddam Hussein's oldest and fiercest enemies, have resumed hit-and-run raids on villages and Iraqi troops. Their commanders say more than 4,000 guerrillas have crossed into Iraq from Iran in recent days. They claim hundreds of Iraqi soldiers have been captured, and a handful of villages has already fallen.
I think the Iraqi people will continue the armed struggle to overthrow the regime.
But because there are large Kurdish communities in Iran, Turkey, and Syria, some Western analysts fear the Kurdish revolt could pose a serious threat to those regimes, too.
It is a shattering of the situation in Iraq is definitely likely to bring about destabilization of the whole Gulf region, at least.
In Damascus, Kurdish leaders joined a new alliance of Iraqi opposition groups. It includes a Shiite fundamentalist group called El Dawa. The group's spokesman claimed the Shiites in southern Iraq want a Western-style democracy after Saddam Hussein is gone. But not long ago, El Dawa was trying to assassinate the Emir of Kuwait. the man U.S. troops fought to return to power. El-Dawa was also linked to the bombing of the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait in 1983 and the subsequent kidnapping of American hostage Terry Anderson in Lebanon 6 years ago.
That's one aspect of their action, but subversion is they have very subtle means of destabilizing governments by co-opting people among the Shias of Saudi Arabia, of Kuwait, and of the Emirates. And they're doing a very efficient job among these people.
Iraqi opposition groups are said to be on the verge of declaring their own government in exile, but that may present U.S. policymakers with just one more problem as they sort through some very unappealing alternatives to Saddam Hussein. Doug Tennell, CBS News, Amman.
Late word from Washington tonight indicating how concerned President Bush and other administration sources are about what's happening now inside Iraq. It's reliably reported that the Bush administration has quietly sent word to Iraq warning Saddam Hussein not to use poison gas, not to use chemical warfare against his own people. The U.S. State Department has tried for years to figure out what to do about the new U.S. Embassy in Moscow. It was left unfinished after U.S. officials found it was bugged by the KGB bottom to top. Today's solution? Put on a new top. 3 new bugless stories. Estimated cost to you, the taxpayer, $200 million. When we come back, a new law designed to keep sex offenders behind bars even after they've done their time.
Ziploc presents Fingerman.
Hi, I'm here to demonstrate an amazing achievement. Introducing the new Gripper Zipper from Ziploc. Now the easiest closing bag there is. In fact, I can even close it with my hands tied behind my back. Yes, the zipper is grabbing hold. It's locking. Feel it close the first time, every time. Ziploc bags with the new Gripper Zipper. The easiest closing bag there is.
Very good, Fingerman.
You gonna tie me now? Hey, where are you going?
As beneficial as self-examination is, Mary Brody won't feel the tiny lump in her breast for another 2 years. But she'll discover it tomorrow, after her first mammogram, thanks in part to a new X-ray film created by DuPont that makes it safer to start mammography early. And for Mary, early detection means a 2-year head start on the rest of her life. At DuPont, we make the things that make a difference.
If I told you my pantyhose could go through an obstacle course like this without a snag, you'd say, no way. And I'd say, no nonsense.
No nonsense. The pantyhose that last.
When I say home by 11, I mean 11.
But Daddy...
Another Maalox moment. Medical fact. There's no faster therapy known for your stomach acid than Maalox.
I just worry.
Maalox. No faster therapy known.
She was one of the most controversial performers of her time, and you'll get the inside story on the life of Josephine Baker on Entertainment Tonight.
Tonight at 10:30.
A holdup in a tentative agreement between the U.S. government and Exxon over the massive and destructive Exxon Valdez oil spill in Alaska. A federal appeals court refused today to let the Bush administration and the oil company come to an agreement without first hearing damage claims from 5 native Alaskan villages. A Los Angeles County grand jury met in special session today. Jurors subpoenaed the appalling footage of Los Angeles police brutality captured on home video and broadcast nationwide. After considerable pressure, Los Angeles Police Chief Daryl Gates called for criminal charges against 3 officers involved. As many as 21 could eventually face charges. The Pacific Northwest is in the final stages of a new debate about crime and punishment. The issue is what to do with repeat sex offenders such as rapists when their prison time is up. John Blackstone reports.
In Seattle today, Andre Young was sent back to prison, not for a crime he has committed, but for a crime he might commit.
I believe it's one of the most heinous decisions.
Young has spent the past 28 years in and out of prison, convicted 6 times for rape. He was due to be released again, but he has become one of the first test cases of a controversial new law in Washington state. It's designed to keep repeat sex offenders locked up, even after their prison sentences are finished.
Common sense tells you that guy's going to reoffend. And should we have to wait until another kid is raped before we do something about it? And this legislation says the answer is no.
Washington's tough law was passed last year in the wake of several shocking crimes by repeat sex offenders.
If we can't get help from the legislature or the governor's task force, we're going to be looking at vigilantism in the state.
The law was a victory for Ida Balashotes, whose daughter Diane was killed by a repeat sex offender on a work release program.
I've had enough. And you call it what you will, but I don't want these people out.
The Washington law adapts a procedure called civil commitment, usually used to confine the mentally ill. But critics of the law say mental illness does not necessarily account for repeat sex crimes. And prison psychiatrist James Reardon says chances are low of determining which sex offenders will strike again.
The best we can do is about 40%, which is less than if you flip a coin.
The law says repeat offenders are to receive psychiatric treatment and, if cured, will be released. But lawyer John LaFawn says civil commitment is wrong.
It is very dangerous to let the government arbitrarily confine in psychiatric prison individuals who are otherwise entitled to their freedom.
If they ever saw the results of what some of these people did, I don't think someone would be crying about these people's rights.
In Washington, the rights of repeat offenders have been judged less important than calming public fears. So the end of a prison sentence may no longer mean freedom, but the start of more time behind bars. John Blackstone, CBS News, San Francisco.
Stay with us now for more news, including the story of being middle-aged and coming back and looking for a few extra innings.
Words of wisdom about brown rice from Kellogg's Kenmai. Mei Ling's grandfather is teaching her the secret to lifelong health. Live well, eat well. And for centuries, eating well has included brown rice. Kellogg's Kenmai rice bran gives you the goodness of brown rice in a light, crisp flake with a simple yet rich taste. Try Kenmai, the brown rice cereal, and take a step toward a tradition of lifelong health.
We're on the South Ridge, taking him west. What's next?
Well, we're looking for maximum suspension load.
Go get it.
Not even the deer and the antelope play here. The perfect place to put a GMC truck to an off-road abuse test.
Let's take it to this one.
After all, GMC trucks didn't become #1 in resale value by following in someone else's footsteps.
What's the status?
We really maxed it out today.
With 84 models redesigned and engineered, GM is putting quality on the road.
Honey, we've got to talk about the 4 juice glasses.
I know, hon, because Sunsweet prune juice has more of 7 important vitamins and minerals than these other juices.
Oh, that's my point, Dave.
No, honey. Your point is Sunsweet tastes great.
Thank you.
Now's the time for Centrum Silver, because you're over 50 and you're out there swinging. Centrum Silver, a complete vitamin formula for your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver, it's a great time to be silver.
Chris, Vicky, Bud, Ron, and Hope. Teamwork, that's what works at News Channel 5. More news, more experience, more often.
Baseball Hall of Famer James Cool Papa Bell died overnight in St. Louis. He was 89. Bell played in what used to be called the Negro Leagues. His speed was legendary. Satchel Paige once said Bell was so fast he could turn out the light and jump into bed before it got dark. On and off the playing field, people are more concerned than ever about keeping their jobs and making ends meet and putting down talk that they're over the hill. One high-profile place you see it is on the pitcher's mound. Lucky Bob Fogg gets to report from spring training camp.
No one has any right to look this good. He's already in baseball's Hall of Fame, got even more celebrity with those underwear ads. Talk about having everything. Now Jim Palmer wants more.
I can do underwear ads, and I can broadcast, and I can do a lot of things that people think are very glamorous, but I enjoy baseball.
No one ever accused Richard Goose Gossage of being a pretty boy. He's been pink-slipped by 2 big league clubs and by the worst club in Japan last year. Gossage is also trying to come back.
I really do firmly believe that I can still pitch in the big leagues, and I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Gossage is pushing 40, and it shows. Palmer is 45, and
doesn't look 45. I don't think. Do you think he looks 45?
Well, no. But out here, Father Time does not like to be kept waiting. So says the game's oldest player.
That's a hard thing to accept, but you have to accept it. That's all in the aging process.
Which is precisely why so many fans are hoping the Graybeards can show the fuzzy-cheek crowd a thing or two.
I'm not that good as I was in 1966 either.
But you're still trying.
Yeah.
Spring is baseball's season of hope when anything seems possible, but it is still a young man's game with cruel demands. And if there is something noble about an old-timer getting out here trying to cheat the clock, there is also something sad, even pathetic, about a performer who can't give up the limelight.
I just don't know why he wants to do it. He's already got everything, and now he's going out for more.
We are businessmen, they agree. We are not immortal. At least that's what they say.
My body's telling me I can still play.
You're not 39 in body terms.
No, not at all.
You're still a young kid.
Yes, I do believe that I am.
Time has set them apart. Fans who swarm all over Palmer often ignore the goose. The first time out in spring training, Palmer got cuffed pretty hard. Gossage was overwhelming. Each, though, hears the clock ticking.
Well, I think an athlete should walk away when he can't do the job anymore, and that's what I'm trying to find out, whether I can or I can't.
So the aristocrat and the working stiff. Yogi Berra told them and others, it ain't over till it's over. Sometimes these old lions are growling, it isn't even over then. Bob Fall, CBS News, Port Charlotte, Florida.
And that's part of our world tonight. Bob Schieffer will be here with the news tomorrow. Don't forget 60 Minutes on Sunday. Dan Rather for the CBS Evening News. Good night.
I thought my husband Dan was perfectly healthy, but the doctor said his cholesterol level was 218. So we changed to a healthier diet, including no cholesterol Mazola, America's leading corn oil.
In a clinical study, a low-fat, low-cholesterol diet, including Mazola, reduced cholesterol an average of 17%.
Did Dan's cholesterol come down?
You bet. 100% pure Mazola corn oil. Together, we're beating cholesterol.
How fast does Dristan nasal spray start working to clear up congestion?
Hey, I didn't expect it to start to work this fast.
Dristan nasal spray starts to work in seconds. Know who's the first with minivan airbags? Dodge Caravan, Plymouth Voyager. The first minivans are still first.
Not long ago, these women would have shied away from these hugs. You would too if you were wearing a diaper. But today, Johnson & Johnson brings you the breakthrough. Serenity Guards. Bladder control protection so advanced you'll never need anything bulky again. Serenity holds as much as something 5 times its size, locking liquid into a gel that won't leak. That's proven protection. So give yourself a hug for discovering Serenity from Johnson & Johnson.
The people of CBS News. Dan Rather.
Connie Chung.
Mike Wallace.
Bob Schieffer.
Ed Bradley.
Leslie Stahl.
Morley Safer.
And Charles Kuralt. Experience.
CBS News.
This is CBS.